What would you do if the role meant to destroy your career turned out to be the one? That changed everything? Because that is exactly what happened to Ethan, and nobody saw it coming. Ethan is not a name you have heard before. Not yet. He is a conservatory-trained actor, 1 year out of school, grinding through the lowest rungs of the entertainment industry. Cast him as a corrupt official, and he will shovel noodles into his mouth. With such conviction, the audience rises up to demand justice on his behalf. Cast him as a predator, and the look on his face is so precise, so deeply unsettling, that parents across the country have used it to put the fear of God into their children. The craft is real, and Ethan knows it. So when he signs up for what is an actor, a live performance reality competition broadcast simultaneously across every major platform in the country, he is not nervous. He is ready. The show is electric in a way pre-recorded competitions never are. Every conflict, every breakdown, every moment of brilliance goes out in real time with nowhere to hide and nothing to edit away. For an actor who has nothing to lose and everything to prove, this is the perfect stage. Ethan walks into the open audition in the Upyeong region with one role in mind. Detective, sharp, commanding, a character with real dramatic weight. The kind of role that would let him show the judges exactly what he is made of. And then, before he can blink, that role is gone. A nepotism pick named Zachary sweeps in and claims the detective spot without breaking a sweat. Zachary is a cosplay streamer with 300,000 followers and a reputation for calling himself the ethereal pretty boy. He has connections in the right places, and apparently that is enough. The role Ethan trained for, the role that was rightfully his, gets handed to someone whose main skill is looking good through a beauty filter. In his place, Ethan is handed a new assignment. Drug addict. He stares at the paper and his heart sinks. 10 lines, a background interrogation scene, nothing on the surface worth anything at all. He is still grumbling about it when something extraordinary happens. A sharp electronic chime rings inside his head, clear as a bell, coming from nowhere. The message arrives fully formed. Congratulations, user. The Method Immersion System is now active. Target role detected. Drug addict. Reward. User is granted the full physical experience of a 10-year addict. Ethan freezes. A system, activated inside his own body, tethered to whatever role he is assigned. Before he can even process what that means, every ounce of energy drains out of him like water through cracked concrete. A massive, uncontrolled yawn tears through his chest. Tears pour down his face, without warning, without emotion, purely physiological. His arms erupt in goosebumps. His stomach churns. His legs shake beneath him. Cold sweat soaks through the back of his collar before he can take a single breath. He has never touched a substance in his life, but right now, his body is lying to him completely. He bolts to the corner of the room and drops into a crouch, dry heaving. Every person in that assessment room goes completely still. Across from him, Zachary drops into his chair like he owns the place and curls his lip. Nervous enough to puke, he sneers, weak mental game. But Ethan is not nervous. He is testing something. He focuses and silently asks the system to switch back. Role state deactivated. The chime replies, switching complete. And just like that, every symptom vanishes. The goosebumps, the shaking, the nausea, gone in a single breath. Ethan almost laughs out loud right there in the corner. This system can transform him into the physical reality of any role he plays. Not a simulation, not a memory technique, not a method acting exercise. Actual physiological transformation, on demand, switchable. He closes his eyes, lets one slow breath out, and flips the switch back on. He rises from the corner slowly. The color drains from his face. His legs carry him across the room in a trembling, unsteady shuffle. He drops into the chair across from Zachary, and the room goes very quiet. Judge Owen, one of 3 judges overseeing the assessment, calls action. Zachary plays the detective, sitting upright, attempting a sharp gaze that comes out more creepy than commanding. The full makeup on his face doing him no favors. Across from him, Ethan begins to fall apart. Not perform falling apart, actually fall apart. His skin turns a sickly, drained color. One hand scratches at his forearm in slow, ups and circles without ever stopping. Cold sweat soaks through the back of his shirt in real time. His eyes go bloodshot, shot through with red at the edges. He forces out a yawn so heavy it bends his whole body forward. Then the first line leaves his mouth, barely above a murmur. Hey, you gotta smoke, just one. Zachary blinks and does not move. He is staring at Ethan, and something behind his eyes shifts from rehearsed confidence into something much closer to alarm. Is this guy acting, or is this real? Ethan presses forward, voice cracking at the edges. I genuinely do not know who your supplier is. Can you get me some water? You just staring at me like that is not going to help. Please, I am begging you, just let me have one. One smoke. His whole body is convulsing now, a full shudder running through him from the shoulders down. Zachary shifts in his seat. That loose, arrogant posture tightens up fast into something cautious, defensive. The look in his eyes has no performance left in it, just raw fear. All three judges are exchanging glances behind the table. The two camera crew members in the corner huddle together, whispering, "This guy looks like he is actually in withdrawal. Should we call someone?" And then Ethan shifts gears completely. Something wild and frantic takes over his face. He fixes Zachary with a look that is equal parts desperation and rage. Think you can pry my mouth open? Give me one cigarette, or you will not get a single word out of me. What are you looking at? Go ahead. Hit me. Come on. Hit me. I can see it in your eyes. You want to. Then do it. Beat me to death. The last words tear out of his throat in a full-throated roar that fills every corner of the room. Zachary shoots to his feet on pure instinct, stumbling backward one step, 2 steps, 3. His chair crashes to the floor behind him. Pure terror on his face. All three judges rise from their seats at the exact same moment. Master Geo, the eldest and most experienced of the panel, stares hard at Ethan and cannot find the answer to the only question that matters. Is this young man performing, or is this real? If it is performance, he thinks, then it is nothing short of miraculous. The two camera crew members are no longer debating quietly. One of them is already reaching for his phone, and that is when Ethan finishes what he started. He explodes. The table goes flying. A low, guttural sound tears out of his chest. Not a scream, something rawer than that. He lunges straight at Zachary. The pretty boy has nowhere to go. Zachary lurches backward and his left foot catches his right heel, and he goes down hard, crashing onto the floor. That is all the opening Ethan needs. He charges, drives his knee into Zachary's chest, and pins him there. One hand locks around Zachary's throat. The other tears through his pockets with frantic, searching desperation. Give me one drag. One drag. Give me one drag. Zachary is so terrified he can barely feel his own limbs. He starts screaming for help. Judge Owen shouts across the room for someone to pull Ethan off. The two camera crew members steel themselves and rush in. But Ethan's hand has already closed around something in Zachary's pocket. A pack of cigarettes. He spins away and curls up in the far corner of the room, huddled low to the floor. His hands are shaking so badly the lighter slips from his fingers again and again. Finally, it catches. He drags hard. Tears, sweat, and everything else mixed together on his face. A long breath of smoke pours out, and he murmurs quietly to himself, barely audible. Worth dying for? The room is absolutely silent except for the sound of the two crew members dragging Zachary away. Behind them on the floor, a long dark streak. Zachary wet himself. Judge Owen is already on the phone calling the police. Master Geo and the female judge back slowly toward the rear exit. Nobody dares come near the corner where Ethan sits pulling slow, quiet drags. 10 minutes pass. Then sirens. The door bursts open and two uniformed officers stride in. Judge Owen rushes to meet them, pointing at the corner. That is him. He is in withdrawal. He has to be on something. The officers reach for their equipment and move in slowly. Just as they close in, Ethan turns his head and looks up at them, his face completely blank. Hey, sorry. Did someone call cut? Are you the part of the setup? The officers take him anyway. As he is walked out of the building, hundreds of people outside have their phones raised. The story is already spreading faster than anyone can contain it. A contestant assigned the role of drug addict goes into what looks like actual withdrawal mid-performance. Scares his opponent so badly the guy soaks through his trousers. That opponent, they are already saying, is the cosplay streamer who calls himself the ethereal pretty boy. By the time Ethan reaches the police station, his name is everywhere, and no one knows yet whether to call him a lunatic or a genius. That evening, the sun low on the horizon, Ethan walks out of the station feeling lighter than air. The urine test and blood panel both come back clean. Nothing in his system, not a trace of anything. Everything that happened in that room was a performance. Officer Miles, the same officer who personally brought him in that afternoon, walks him to the road and gives his shoulder a pat. He shakes his head laughing. "When I first saw you," he says, "I genuinely thought you were in withdrawal. It was all an act." "That is something else." Ethan smiles modestly, shakes his hand, and walks away without a worry in the world. That night, the Yunpyeong District Police Station releases an official statement. Given the enormous public attention the incident has generated, the record needs to be set straight. A copy reaches every judge on the panel. Master Geo and the female judge read it over dinner and slammed the table at the same moment. Ethan advances. Decision made. Judge Owen has nothing to say, because there is nothing to say. Even he is floored. At 9:30 that night, the official What Is an Actor website posts the first open audition results. Ethan's name sits right there on the Yunpyeong advancement list. Attached below it, the full police report, clearing his name completely. The internet breaks. Wait, so his performance was so convincing that he scared his opponent into wetting himself. Had the judges calling the police, and he tested completely clean? You could not write this in a novel and have anyone believe it. The tide online shifts in an instant. Every single trending post is nothing but praise for Ethan's acting. Meanwhile, across the city, Zachary is in a foul mood. No cosplay tonight, no ethereal pretty boy persona, just the embarrassment of what happened sitting on his chest like a stone. He goes live anyway, because his golden rule is to show up for his audience. The moment the stream starts, the viewer count is already over 50,000. He usually pulls a few thousand at most. For 1 second, his mood lifts. Then the chat floods in. "Heard you wet yourself. Saw the leaked footage. His acting is insane. Someone's calling you the soggy pretty boy. Do the handstand or I am unsubscribing, and I mean it." That last message is from his top donor. Zachary's face goes completely blank. The viewer count climbs past 100,000. Everyone is piling on with unsubscribe threats. If they follow through, the account is finished. He grits his teeth, stands up, and faces the camera with a smile that does not reach his eyes. Fine. He forces out through clenched teeth. A bet is a bet. Back in his apartment, Ethan sleeps deeply, unbothered. The next morning his phone drags him out of a dead sleep with good news. He has advanced through the Yunpyeong region open audition. 108 contestants advance in total. In 1 month, the competition rounds begin, held right there in Yunpyeong. He hangs up, scrubs his face with both hands, and lets himself smile. But that is not what keeps him up. Last night, he stayed past for in the morning studying the system. And what he found is extraordinary. The system has a status screen, simple on the surface. User, Ethan, profession, actor. Level 1, active role blueprint, drug addict. But the level description is where things get genuinely staggering. At level 1, every accessible role is an ordinary person, addicts, chefs, lawyers, teachers. Real people grounded in reality. Unlock 30 different role blueprints and he advances to level 2. At level 2, a new category opens entirely. Warriors, martial arts masters, action heroes, every combat role that exists. And the system does not just give him the performance, it gives him the reality behind it. Real combat skills, real technique, real capability. Level 3 expands further into the realm of fantasy, granting actual supernatural power tied to whatever role he inhabits. Real abilities, real techniques drawn from worlds that should not be reachable. Ethan sits with this information and feels something shift deep in his chest. The future is wide open, and the path to it runs straight through performance. There's just one constraint the system does not bend on. His role is locked to the profession of actor. He cannot game it, cannot grind roles in isolation, cannot fake his way through. Every blueprint has to come through a real performance in a real production. Honest work, the old-fashioned way. He is not worried. His plan takes shape quickly. Not a major star, not a leading man, not a 3-year film commitment that locks him into a single role. The fastest route to 30 blueprints is as many different productions as possible. Background actor, day player, bit part, guest role, volume over prestige. He intends to become the greatest background actor who ever lived. By 9:30 that morning, he is already dressed and heading out. He grabs a cab to a hotel near Yunjiang Film Academy, a place he knows well. The upper floors are crawling with low-budget crews scouting for day players. Outside, a small crowd of hopefuls camps in the shade every day, waiting. Some are conservatory trained, Some are pure amateurs running on nothing but passion. Ethan takes his place quietly among them and waits. He has barely been there 5 minutes when a chubby young guy in a blue shirt, dark sweat patches soaking through both armpits, bursts out of the hotel shouting, "Anyone who can cook needs someone who can toss a wok, age 25 to 35. Lines included. The crowd surges immediately, a wall of competing voices. I can cook. Me too. I know Sichuan, Shandong, Cantonese, all of it. Ethan watches from the side, quietly amused. The ones who charge in screaming are always the amateurs. A veteran extra knows that timing is everything. He waits for the noise to peak and begin to fall, then steps in calm and clear. Can cook, can toss a wok. 26. Short, direct, everything that matters. The chubby guy snaps his head toward him, and then his expression does something strange. He shoves through the crowd and walks straight to Ethan. Wait, you are the one from the What is an Actor audition, Ethan, right? Modest nod. That is me. You are in. Follow me. Done. The role is for a low-budget urban drama shooting that same morning. A background chef with 2 lines. 1 day of work. Last-minute replacement because the original actor was in a car accident. Simple enough. The casting assistant director, a middle-aged man in black-framed glasses, looks Ethan over and raises an eyebrow. He has seen the clip from the audition. Total unknown plays a drug addict, ends up with police on scene. Test clean. He nods, confirms the conservatory background, and offers the top rate of 150 for the day. Ethan signs without hesitation, and the moment pen touches contract, right on cue, the system chimes. Target role detected. Chef. Congratulations, user. You are now a seasoned elite master chef. Mastery of all 8 great cuisines includes Sichuan, Shandong, Cantonese, and Anhui. Expert in hundreds of regional and international flavors. Full command of state banquet cuisine. Authentic inheritor of the Manchuan imperial feast tradition. Ethan's eyes light up. A warmth spreads through his whole body, like sinking slowly into a hot spring. Countless recipes flood in, and a lifetime of instinct and habit settles deep into his bones. He switches back for now, saving it for when the camera rolls. An hour later, he follows the crew to a small restaurant near the West 3rd Ring Road, at least 20 years old by the look of it, which is exactly the atmosphere the production is going for. When he walks in, the actress already on set stops him cold. The female lead is Diana, the same girl who was almost his competition at the audition yesterday. She has a sweet, girl-next-door quality, and she is clearly new to this. A simple scene of crouching to wash dishes eats through multiple takes. As Diana raps and walks toward the exit, Ethan is about to nod hello. She glances at him once, flat, and keeps walking. He blinks. Really? He lets it go without losing a step. Respect flows upward in this industry, not sideways, and certainly not toward a nobody extra. He understands the math of it, but inside the kitchen, something is already going wrong before he even changes costume. The assistant director pulls him aside and lowers his voice. Before they got back, the female lead had brought someone of her own. Diana had slipped her own pick into the chef role. The problem is the person does not know how to cook. The energy in the kitchen is completely off. Over a dozen takes done and not one of them works. The director wants to see what Ethan has before making a call. Ethan laughs quietly and says he understands. He strolls into the kitchen, easy and unhurried, and halfway to the stove he flips into chef mode. A crowd gathers at the kitchen doorway, lights and cameras swinging into position. Diana squeezes in at the edge of the doorway beside her pick. He watches Ethan's back and leans toward her. What do we do? Just watch, she says quietly. The chef's feel is not easy to fake. Action. Ethan steps up to the stove, lights the burner with a practiced hand, and seasons the hot wok with oil, pours it out, then adds cold fresh oil. He reaches for an egg and with the most classic of chef's techniques, gives it a single gentle squeeze. The shell cracks clean. 1 egg into the wok, 2, 3. He starts breaking them apart fast, both hands moving at real speed. Then the wok goes up, one clean rhythmic arc, and the rice inside rises and falls in a perfect pattern. Behind the monitor, the director smiles and nods without even realizing he is doing it. That is it. That is the feeling. At the doorway, Diana's expression sours. Was he actually a chef before? At that level, you need at least 3 to 5 years behind a stove. How else? The kitchen work wraps in one clean pass. 1 plate of egg fried rice, done. When he scoops it from the wok, he adds a small flourish at the end. dragging the ladle hard along the back of the wok in a full reverse arc, tipping what remains neatly onto the plate. Most professional chefs cannot pull that off cleanly. Too much force or too little, the wrong angle, and rice goes everywhere. The assistant director is grinning from ear to ear. Flawless. Not a single thing to critique. Without turning around, Ethan calls out his first line in the most natural voice imaginable. Fried rice is up. From outside, cut. The screen test is over before anyone has time to react. The director steps through the doorway, face neutral, but his eyes do not lie. He is pleased. He raises his voice for the room. He isn't. Get him to make up. And Ethan, make another plate. Same feel. What you just did was right. Diana has nothing to say, no argument to make. Only a consoling pat on the arm for her pick as she signals him to head out. She still has her own scenes to finish. By noon, the table outside is covered with plates of fried rice. The director scraps the takeout order entirely. Everyone's having fried rice. The moment the first bite goes in, every single person on that set feels it. A wave that seems to open up every pore. Every grain separate and distinct, egg coating each one perfectly, a scatter of chopped green onion. Light and savory and impossibly satisfying. The assistant director sits beside Ethan smiling. Have you ever actually worked as a chef? No, Ethan says, offhandedly. Never. The assistant director stares at him. Genuinely not? Genuinely not. Just an extra since graduation, but cooking has always been a personal hobby. The assistant director shakes his head slowly. At the very least, this fried rice is something else. Fried rice is nothing, Ethan says simply. I can make dishes from all 8 great cuisines. State banquet recipes, to even the Manchurian Imperial Feast. The assistant director spits his mouthful halfway across the table. That afternoon, Ethan stands alone under the shade of a tree outside the restaurant, waiting for his pay when footsteps approach behind him. He turns. Diana, still in full costume and makeup, strolling over with her hands behind her back, smiling like they are old friends. What a coincidence, she says. I did not expect to see you here as an extra. You startled me this morning. Ethan blinks. Really? I did not see you jump. A laugh from her, eyes curving, projecting pure sweetness. But look closer, and there is something calculating working behind those eyes. He saw her cold, dismissive look when he walked in. The act is very good, but it is still an act. Was there something you wanted? He says, not looking at her. She fusses with her costume and says casually that she watched his clip from the audition. It caught her off guard. Was that really all acting? She has her doubts. Ethan lets a small frown settle on his face. Actually, he says evenly, seeing you here caught me off guard too. Your acting is not good enough for the female lead in this show. You are very lucky, I have to say. I have my doubts about how you landed it. Diana's sweet face goes cold in an instant. Her brow twitches. She knows exactly what he is implying. Ethan turns and walks away without another word, leaving Diana standing there with her jaw clenched. The assistant director catches him before he leaves, pulls him aside with a grin. The director made some last-minute changes for tomorrow. Added scenes, more lines. He mentions that tomorrow's added scene calls for a specific state banquet dish. Squirrel mandarin fish. Guest actor rate for the day, he offers. 9 lines added. $1,500 for the day. Done, Ethan says, and pockets the deal without hesitating. As he walks off set, he catches Diana's voice drifting from across the way, soft and cloying, talking to the director. Are you really giving him more scenes? We do not know anything about his background. Ethan does not look back. The next morning, dedicated camera angles and 9 confirmed lines. In the kitchen, Ethan steps into the master chef fully, and the squirrel mandarin fish that comes out of that kitchen is something that stops the entire set cold. Crisp on the outside, tender within, deep golden orange, sweet and tangy and delicate. The sauce tying everything together in a way that makes it impossible to stop eating. At the lunch table, even Diana, who can barely hide her hostility, takes one bite and drops her chopsticks. Incredible, she says, without meaning to. I have never tasted anything like this. Not even at a 5-star hotel. She genuinely cannot work out what Ethan is. An actor, an addict, a chef. After lunch, the director pulls Ethan aside in the shade and asks him directly, have you ever worked as a chef? No judgment. Just tell me the truth. Really? No. Grinding as a background actor since graduation, a full year of it. When would there have been time? The director stares at him. Well, he says, your skills are extraordinary. Your way of inhabiting a role is so convincing I cannot tell the difference between your real self and your performance. Then comes the offer. Rewrite overnight. Build the character up. Give Ethan the fifth male lead. Roughly 3 months on set. If it goes well, a whole chef-centered project built just for him after that. Interested? Ethan does not even pause. I am not interested. Just settle today's pay, please. The director stares at him, genuinely baffled. This kind of opportunity is right in front of him, and he says no without thinking twice. But the calculation is simple and Ethan can see it clearly. In 1 month, the life stage of what is an actor begins. Who has any interest in playing the fifth male lead in a low-budget drama? Opposite an underwhelming lead actress? Pass. A few minutes later, the assistant director, Philip, comes out instead. He heard what happened. He does not push back, does not make a snide comment. He gives a quiet smile instead. Good. Better that you did not. This place is too small for what you have got. He hands Ethan the day's pay plus 800 extra as a personal tip for the cooking. Now go. Get some rest. 1 more day tomorrow. See it through. Ethan takes the money and finally lets himself smile properly. 3 days of work on Philip's little crew, and the system's abilities have put 4,950 in his pocket. More than he had ever managed before. He treats himself, buys a haul of fresh seafood, and cooks like a 5-star kitchen in his tiny 30-square-meter apartment. Pure bliss. He spends the downtime testing the system's limits, trying every workaround he can think of, assigning himself roles privately, trying to perform them alone, cosplay, mimicry, anything. None of it works. The system has locked itself to the acting profession. Real performances, real productions, no shortcuts. Back to being a bit part player. On the 4th morning of his break, his phone rings before he has even made coffee. A known number, aged voice on the other end, faintly familiar. Hello, is this Ethan? Yes. Who is this? It is Gio. Master Gio. Ethan sits bold upright, the oldest and most respected judge from the What is an Actor audition panel. Calling him personally, Master Gio reveals that before he retired, he was a professor at Jinghua Film Academy. That is why he had gone out of his way at the audition to tell Ethan to keep his head level. A connection felt, one professional recognizing something real in another. But then Master Gio gets to the point. A former student of his has moved into directing and is shooting an urban romance drama right now. He is new to the field, working on a tight budget, and he needs a major featured role player who is willing to work for less. The role is a villain, a spoiled rich kid, family worth over 10 billion, the full archetype, arrogant, overbearing, loud, shameless. The moment Ethan hears it, something ignites in his chest, because the system does not just reward performance, it makes the role real. A 10 billion yuan family fortune, genuinely granted. His heart rate picks up, and he says the words before he has even finished thinking them through. Master Gio, if you trust me, that archetype, the textbook spoiled rich kid, I have studied it and I have a real feel for it. Master Gio laughs warmly. He arranges for Ethan to come to the set that same day for a screen test. The system chimes the moment it activates, delivering a message that makes Ethan's chest almost stop. Target role detected. Spoiled rich kid. Congratulations, host. Before midnight tonight, your parents will come into a fortune of over 10 billion. He freezes. His parents, his honest carpenter father and his mother working at the grain and oil shop, suddenly standing in front of 10 billion yuan. He switches back to normal for now and thinks about the people who raised him. Everything they sacrificed to put him through school. The cheapest rundown apartment he rented just to ease their burden. This is a good outcome. More than good. Far East Tower, a premier grade office building. The top 2 floors rented as a live set for the urban romance drama. The male lead is Rex, a faded star whose one great role, a character nicknamed the Howling Hound, made him a household name and then left him stranded when the industry pivoted toward fresh young talent. The female lead is Stella, the top beauty at Jinghua Film Academy's class of 2023. Still a student, brought in by Master Gio's connections. Ethan meets director Zach outside, lean and stubble-faced, dressed in the deliberate casual that every director seems to wear like a uniform. He is not impressed and makes no effort to hide it. A plain extra at minor featured rate. The perfunctory handshake says everything. Master Geo vouched for you, so we test. If you have got it, you are in. If not, do not blame him. Ethan gives a quiet smile. Understood. In makeup, the stylist produces a gaudy pink suit, plaid trousers, designer leather shoes, a gold chain, and a fake Piaget on the wrist. Ethan stares at his reflection for a long moment and shakes his head. This is not arrogance. This is a clown. He goes into the wardrobe room and puts together his own look. When he walks back out, it is a blue suit, white shirt, single red tie. His own hair dampened into a disheveled, weary fall. Director Zach frowns immediately and turns to him. You are an extra telling me my villain design is a joke. Ethan does not flinch. That original outfit does not read as arrogant rich kid. It reads as a clown. Director Zach goes quiet. But then comes the screen test. Director Zach walks him through the scene, then sends for Stella. And it is the moment Stella walks in and her eyes meet Ethan's that everything shifts. She is used to the way men look at her. There is always desire in it, or possessiveness, or some version of both. But this is different. The way Ethan looks at her, she is not a person. She is an object, a plaything. A shiver moves through her before the scene has even started. Director Zach calls action and it begins. Ethan moves towards Stella slowly, arms loose, shoulders rocking gently side to side. No exaggerated expression, no theatrical snarl. Just the walk, and the walk says everything. Behind the monitor, Master Geo points at the screen and turns to Director Zach. Look at the way he walks. That arrogance does not come from a costume. It comes from the bones. He pauses, then adds quietly, sometimes insight beats hard work. Ethan corners Stella. One hand grazes the edge of her hair and slides downward. Avoiding me, the words come out barely above a murmur, but the ice underneath them is unmistakable. Stella feels real dread settle into her, not the kind that belongs to performance. Then his gaze moves down from her face, openly, shamelessly. A wave of heat floods her face, and she shoves him back hard, crying out. Behind the monitor, Master Geo's face lights up. You see that? Stella was not even in it, and Ethan pulled her straight in. That reaction was instinct. He made her feel it is real. The scene escalates. Ethan spins to where Director Zach and Master Geo are seated, pointing directly. The hell are you filming? Put that phone away. Then to the crew around the edges. What are you staring at? Get lost. Every crew member stands frozen, genuinely convinced that if they keep watching, he will come for them next. Director Zach goes pale. And still it is not over. Stella struggles harder, face drained of color, screaming for help. Ethan closes his hand around her throat and presses her against the wall, bodies close. Expression completely flat. What do you think I am to you? What exactly do you think I am? Stella's eyes go red. Tears stream down in a flood. Her whole body goes limp. She is shaking. She is not even playing the character anymore. She has become her. Then Master Geo shouts cut. In the instant that word lands, Ethan releases her, both hands going to her shoulders, steadying her gently. Sorry, he says quickly. Stella blinks and then breaks into full sobs. The room stands completely undone, clean, like a switch being thrown. From untouchable, reckless, predatory villain to regular person in less than a second. Master Geo claps Ethan on the shoulder, barely able to contain himself. Incredible, truly. In all my years in this industry, nothing comes close. Director Zach is speechless for a long moment. Then he offers to sign Ethan at mid-tier featured rate, one step above what was originally discussed, starting at $800 a day. Ethan turns down the contract offer, just as he had turned down the director from Philip's set. Not ready to sign with anyone yet. He needs more time to sharpen himself first. Director Zach pushes. Jingwon Media Group, he says, as if the name alone should close the deal. Ethan shakes his head without hesitation. What if this is the only type of role he can do? What if he gets signed and shelved? Better to risk a few more years of grinding than risk being locked away. Director Zach and Master Geo exchange a look. The kid has a point, the youngest person in the room, and the clearest head in it. Director Zach lets out a long breath and nods, then offers the role anyway. No agency strings attached. They shake hands, a firm, genuine grip this time. By noon, Ethan is eating a 30-yuan crew lunch box on the top floor of Far East Tower. His phone rings in the middle of it. Mom. His chest tightens as he answers. She calls rarely unless something is up. Her voice comes through light and easy, no signs of anything extraordinary. She tells him his grandfather suddenly got it into his head to go back to the old house. Says he has old valuables buried in the backyard, had almost forgotten about them. Ming and Qing dynasty pieces, jade, jewelry, worth over 10 billion, he claims. Ethan sprays his drink everywhere and jumps up mouthing apologies to Master Geo across the table. He steps outside and keeps listening. His grandfather has been confused for 2 years. If this is the system delivering the fortune, it has chosen the most elegant possible route. Old family antiques, genuine provenance, clean origin. 100 pieces from the Ming and Qing dynasties, confirmed real. No suspicious windfall, no questions to answer. Ethan stands on the landing of Far East Tower and feels something settle in him. The fortune has arrived, and it arrived for the people who deserved it most. He goes back to his lunchbox, eats, and says nothing to anyone. That afternoon, filming of the spoiled rich kid arc officially begins. With Ethan as Dominic, the relentless, arrogant villain, Stella finds her way into character faster and faster. Unfortunately for her, every one of their scenes is intense. Dominic pursuing a fresh graduate who cannot escape him, refusing to let her go, escalating to harassment when he cannot have her. Stella ends up in tears practically every other take. But the more it happens, the more the line between performance and reality dissolves in her body. She keeps feeling as though something has truly happened to her. By the time the afternoon shoot wraps, she can no longer hold Ethan's gaze. In her mind, she has been torn between two faces of the same person. Ethan, warm and easy and bright. Dominic, ruthless and cold and predatory. The contrast alone is enough to plant something in her she cannot name. Ethan walks home feeling perfectly relaxed. He barely has time to shower before his phone rings again. Mom. This time her voice is shaking. Son, we are rich. He exhales fully. It is done. She is crying now. The kind of tears that only come when a lifetime of modest, careful living suddenly gives way to something overwhelming. Grandpa had a clear-headed spell, she says between sniffles. He took them to the old house. They dug up a buried cellar, and inside it was full. Over 100 pieces, all of them old, all of them real, the way Grandpa tells it. Over 10 billion. Ethan listens, and something moves in him quietly. Mom, take a breath, he says. These things have always belonged to the family, have they not? Grandpa was wealthy all along. That makes you the daughter of a wealthy family. Easy, Mom. You have always been a lady of standing. Oh, get out of here with your lady of standing. She laughs through her tears. His father is apparently in the background grilling Grandpa with questions nonstop. The most animated Ethan has ever heard him. When Mom tells him the number again, 10 billion, and asks if he is happy, he says simply, what is there to be happy about? That is your wealth, not mine. Use it to live better. Mom threatens to save every last piece for when he finds a wife. He tells her to keep it under wraps, handle it quietly. Sell a piece here and there through someone trustworthy. She ignores him completely and says she is keeping all of it. He hangs up, tosses the phone aside, and closes his eyes. He is not in a rush to find a wife. It has to be real, has to be right. His father is famously tight-fisted and cautious, every coin counted twice his whole life. Those antiques will be buried so deep nobody will ever know. Good. Time to sleep. Over the next 20 days, Ethan shows up on set like it is a regular job, and his performances leave the entire crew in awe. Master Geo comes every single day to watch. The more he watches, the more baffled he becomes. A veteran of his stature, and he cannot find a single trace of performance in anything Ethan does. Every expression, every movement completely natural, as if two entirely separate selves live inside the same body. Camera rolls. He is that arrogant, untouchable villain. Director calls cut. He is just a regular person again. Almost supernatural. Master Geo keeps saying to director Zach, we struck gold. For everyone else, it is rough going. Rex, the male lead, takes real slaps in their scenes together. Ethan never holds back, and Rex grumbles about it but takes it because he recognizes when someone is genuinely in the zone. Bit part extras working scenes with Dominic get kicked around and cursed at as a matter of routine, and Stella bears the heaviest burden. Every single day is an ordeal for her. The escalating conflict of the arc means her crying scenes pile up. She used to struggle to cry on cue, but now, opposite Ethan, tears fall like a broken string of pearls. Her mind has split into dread of Dominic on one side, growing admiration for Ethan on the other. 20 days pass. Ethan's scenes wrap cleanly at 8:30 in the evening. Director Zach leads the key crew to a restaurant. a group dinner to celebrate. Full seafood spread and 2 expensive bottles of red wine. Director Zach drops hints more than once about keeping Ethan close. Each time, Ethan lets him down gently. Eventually, Director Zach lets it go. The dinner stretches past midnight. By the end, Ethan is genuinely drunk, mostly because of Master Geo, who kept the glasses coming and who Ethan simply could not bring himself to refuse. When the bill is settled and they make it downstairs, Director Zach waves Xiao over to take Ethan home. But Stella steps forward first. Without waiting for permission, she hooks Ethan's arm over her shoulder. "My place is close to his," she says. "It is on the way. I have not had anything to drink. I will get him home." She steers him toward the curb before anyone can object. Director Zach starts to move, but Master Geo reaches out and stops him with a quiet word. "Let her go. You will not stop her." Director Zach's hand freezes, then slowly drops. Everyone sharp enough to read the moment understands what it means. 40 minutes later, Stella gets Ethan through the door of her own apartment, flushed and breathless from half carrying him. She never had any intention of taking him anywhere else. 20-some days, and the line between performance and reality dissolved in her completely. Admiring Ethan, fearing Dominic, surrendering to both. That fractured, contradictory pull is what brings him here tonight. The next morning, just past 10, Ethan drags himself out of a daze and realizes this is not his apartment. He presses his fingers to his temples and lets the night come back to him slowly. Then he freezes. He looks around. Stella is not here. On the nightstand, there is a note. "When you wake up, feel free to shower. There's breakfast in the kitchen. Last night was my choice, so do not carry any guilt about it." At the bottom, a small red star and a stick-figure girl with a ponytail, cheeks flushed, smiling. He cannot help but smile back at the paper. Fair enough. They are both adults. Stella making the first move genuinely surprised him. She does not come across as the type. He eats the breakfast she left, takes a shower, and leaves an hour later with his head on straight. A beautiful chance encounter, nothing more. No real emotional foundation between them, at least not on his end. He knows what to do with that information. Keep his focus on the system. 1 week left before what is an actor starts filming, live broadcast, the real competition. From the qualifying rounds all the way through the regional finals, and into the national championship, spanning roughly 3 months. If he keeps advancing, he will inhabit dozens of different roles along the way. Dozens of blueprints, dozens of steps toward level 2. The path is clear, the stakes are real, and for the first time since graduation, Ethan is not grinding blind. He has a system, a plan, and the one thing no amount of industry connection can manufacture: actual ability. He thinks about everything that has happened in just a handful of days. An audition that ended with police on scene and his name trending nationwide. A chef role that fed an entire crew and left a director eating cold fried rice off a monitor. A villain so convincing it pulled real tears from a top beauty and left the seasoned producer speechless. A 10 billion fortune, arriving quietly through a grandfather's clear-headed spell and a backyard cellar nobody remembered. And every single thing, every role, every result, every shift in his fortune, burned through performance. Real work, legitimate channels, no shortcuts. That is the thing about Ethan that nobody around him can quite understand. He is not chasing fame. He is not chasing money. He is not angling for a contract or a production deal or the next big role. He is chasing range. Every character is a new world. Every blueprint is a step. And the version of himself waiting at level 3, with real supernatural power drawn from roles that should not even exist in reality. That version is what he is actually building toward. 1 week, and then the live broadcast begins. 200 cameras, no editing, no second chances, no manufactured drama. Just whoever is best on the day, performing in real time for the entire country to watch. Ethan is not nervous about any of it. He is curious. What role will the system hand him next? What blueprint will open the door he cannot yet see? He steps out of Stella's building and onto the street. The morning is bright and unhurried and full of possibility. He flags a cab, gives his address, and watches the city slide past the window. Somewhere out there, Zachary is still nursing a wounded reputation and a wrecked live stream. Diana is still maneuvering behind scenes that do not need maneuvering. Director Zach is still holding out hope that Ethan might change his mind. Master Geo is already telling everyone who will listen that he found something real. None of them fully understand what they are dealing with yet. Because what they saw, what left them stunned and shaken and reaching for their phones, was not the system. The system is invisible. What they saw was Ethan, a conservatory-trained actor who spent a year grinding in the background with nothing, deciding that every role he was handed was worth inhabiting completely. And then the system came, and everything he already believed about acting turned out to be true in ways he could not have imagined. A drug addict, real withdrawal symptoms, a pack of cigarettes, a chalk mark on the floor. A chef, 8 great cuisines flowing through his hands like muscle memory that had always been there. A spoiled rich kid, ice in his eyes and recklessness in his bones, and a 10 billion fortune quietly arriving. For the people he loves most. Every version of him more complete than the last. Every step building towards something larger. The cab pulls up to his apartment building. Ethan pays, steps out, and stands for a moment on the pavement. He pulls up the status screen in his mind. User, Ethan. Profession, actor. Level 1. Role blueprints unlocked. 3. 27 to go before level 2 opens. Before warriors and assassins, and every action role becomes real capability in his hands. 3 down. 27 left. And a live competition coming in 1 week that will hand him opportunities to perform in front of the entire country. He closes the screen and goes upstairs. His apartment is small and bare bones and cheap. He has lived here a full year and barely changed a thing in it. He does not mind. The apartment is not the goal. He makes a cup of tea, sits at his desk, and starts reviewing everything he knows about the what is an actor format, the structure of the competition rounds, the scoring, the live broadcast mechanics, the way trending topics build and break in real time. There's 1 week to prepare, and Ethan has no intention of arriving at that stage the same person who left the audition. He is going to walk into the competition rounds better than before, sharper, more prepared, with 2 more blueprints already running in his bones. And whatever role the show hands him next, whatever twist the judges and producers and audience throw his way, he will inhabit it completely. Not because the system forces him to, because that is who he already was before any of this started. An actor who takes every role seriously, even the ones nobody wants, especially those. He finishes his tea and opens a notebook. The city hums outside the window, indifferent to one more unknown grinding towards something he cannot yet fully see. In 1 week, the cameras go live. In 1 week, the competition begins in earnest. And somewhere in that competition, among however many roles remain before he reaches level 2, the next version of Ethan is waiting, not performing from the outside, living it from within.